So my research focuses on understanding mental health needs in a resource-limited environment, meaning sometimes post-war environment, post-genocide environment, post-conflict environment. Particularly for the past decades, I've been focused on Republic of Rwanda, and recently I've been working together with colleagues from Bosnia and Herzegovina. As you might know, they have experienced war and genocide, and it's been quite a year past since the war. And then this is about the time that people's mental health needs are starting to emerge. So a need is there, but my question is, do they have a service and high quality service that they could access to get the help that they need to look after their mental or psychological well-being? So that's the focus of my research. So my motivation for doing this is so that I get to learn from these people what's keeping them live along despite the fact that they have experienced this human tragedy of catastrophic level. And they teach me so much about what we, sometimes something that we take it for granted. For example, when you wake up in the morning, you have coffee on the table. Maybe not everybody has that. But during the wartime, they can't access the coffee. And what they desired for is a wonderful coffee time with my wife and son, let's say. So what they wanted to bring back is their ordinary but peaceful day-to-day life, which to me seemed like a definition of peace. So that was one of the billion examples of the things that I get to learn from someone who survived such atrocity. So I can't stop learning from them because they teach me great. So challenge, I would say, is there in the form of them having a difficulty accessing what they need. So put it in a more tangible example. Someone needs to access COVID vaccine, but it's not there. It's very difficult to live life in there. And just because we can't see mental health issues or well-being issues doesn't mean that they don't have it. And sometimes people themselves may not be able to even call it and realize it. So that in and of itself is a challenge. But provided that they realize that they need some help. And accessing a help is a different issue. And I find that in a resource-limited environment, there's a lot of challenges. For example, the most popular one is a cost. I need to access a therapist or counselor, but I can't access it. And then could we deliver some more peer-to-peer, self-help-based kind of mental health literacy support through the people who lived that war, helping one another? And could we do something to help them support one another using some self-help strategies and network, using some materials that we bring in evidence to write and inform them in the form of not therapy, but in the form of mental health education, and what we call literacy development? Could we do something like that? Might that help? Is that better than zero? So that's the kind of questions that we ask and develop, deliver, and evaluate too. So challenge is a graven that is there from their point of view. My challenge is it's kind of a joy, and I enjoy it. So I'm glad that I feel the enjoyment doing this, but is to develop the relationship from scratch. So when I visit different places, and especially post-war zones, I'm no one. I have professional title here, but when I go to those post-war zones, I'm just massa on the ground. I need to hear what people are saying, or first of all, will they let me and allow me hear their experience? Will they feel safe enough to share their story with this no one who's standing there, who's Japanese looking, let's say. So it's a challenge, but I like the challenge because what I have found so far is that people are so welcoming. and especially people who have experienced atrocity like a war or genocide or conflict. They're so compassionate and they're so humane. They seem to know what it means to be human and humane to other people, so they're always welcoming. So that goes beyond the post-war environment. I think it's a global issue, and anywhere you are, how could we improve mental health access of people and an individual? So that's that macro level it boils down to. And it's a great question to entertain, and it's a great question worthy of even a single discipline of implementation science to continue pursuing on that question. And I'm not underestimating, and I'm putting high regard on that question. How can we improve access? I would love to grapple with it for the rest of my life, and I'm okay with not getting the answer, because questioning itself is very helpful. One more immediate thing that I always feel that we need is more orchestrated coordination of knowledge generating endeavor. For example, when we do research, where's the end point? Would the data gonna be helpful for Sandra on the ground, let's say? So that gap is always there. What can we do to bridge the gap? And what can we do so that all this great research we do will be converted to help someone on the street, let's say. So there's a lot of systematic effort that we need, and implementation science tackle on that. So more immediate concrete example is something that I've been advocating, like network or mail list. We have an app, repository, that are more centralized, and people are looking systematically. So what's the results? And what more is needed? So we need more higher level, integrative, kind of a meta research, so to speak, to look at the trend and what has been addressed and what hasn't been addressed, and what do we have to synthesize to generate what knowledge, and what part of the needs does that take care of, and what part does that not take care of. And that shall inform the policy about, hey, there's a blind spot. We should allocate more money for that. And this population group in a particular context of ... geographic region hasn't been addressed qualitatively about their experiences of not being able to access counselor. Another big domain is the cases that didn't go well. We could never get to ask client or patient who never come back, why? What didn't work? I would love to ask them that question. That would inform us with a gem of knowledge about what worked and what didn't work for them. So we need more systematic analysis of the research process and the data itself to strategically plan. So if you're looking at things like strategic things like policy, we need that data to inform the policy in terms of equidistribution of funding for not just giving and allocating in random competitive manner. Could we be more strategic, really understanding the needs and allocate the funds, which is taxpayers' money, for the right cause? First, I was looking at audiences, and I was very reassured and proud, I guess, that so many people showed up. And as I said in the panel as well, but they embody and put in action that they value this. This is important for them. So that experience of seeing fellow people who share the same mission was so encouraging for me, and it touched my heart. And it's very, very great. We're not alone, we are together, and we value this. And this is a good evidence to the point I made that that's just what we value as Canadian. So I was very happy to see that's what I was thinking in the panel. And what message would I give, humbly, if I may, to them is that you are one of the acting agent. You are it. You are the one who will change it. and small step is welcome. That's all we can do. But if 150 people taking small step, 150 steps, that's not bad, is it?